Hello, what I'd like to show you in this first video is how to take this data and translate it into a bar chart. So what you'll see here is I've got my student codes, and these are fifth graders, and this is their NWEA, their fall NWEA reading score, and each student has their score. What I'd like, though, is to create a bar chart of the whole class, and for that I want to use score bands. Oops, I'm going to get rid of this one here. That'll come back later. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to select these two columns, and I'm going to go to Data, and I'm going to sort that range, and my data does have header rows, and I want to sort it by score. I can either go from lowest to highest or highest to lowest. I'm going to leave it from lowest to highest. So you'll see the codes have changed place because now it's sorted by score, not by the student code. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to count the number of students in each of these score bands and enter that number here. So for this first one, there's 2 students. There's also 2 in the next band. Then there's 3 in this band. I have 7 in this band. And then I've got 5 here and 1 here. Okay, so now I've got my distribution, and I'm going to select this data here and then click on my chart icon. And when it comes up, it's automatically going to have a default setting. It says that I've selected this data. I can always change it here. I can switch rows and columns. Okay, you'll notice what happens is the scores go over here in the number of students. That chart really doesn't mean much, so I'm going to take that one off. And it automatically is seeing that I should use row 1 as headers. Now, I'd like to have this be, to have my axis with the scores be on the horizontal part. So I'm going to switch it here. Okay, and you'll see now that I've got the score bands across the bottom and the number of students. Before I finish this, I'm going to go over to Customize, and this is where I can change my chart title. So I'm going to say 5th grade fall NWEA scores. I can change the color and so on. Okay. I can choose to move the legend, so I'm going to actually move that to the bottom. So you'll see now it says number of students at the bottom. Okay. And then down at the bottom, I can choose to add access to labels to the axes. So for my horizontal, it's going to say NWEA score, and then if I want to add one to the left vertical, I can say number of students. Okay, I can also change the minimum and the maximum, but for now I don't need to. And at this point, I can say insert. You'll see that it automatically puts it on the same worksheet where I am, and I'd like to actually move it to this other tab down here. So I'm going to click on the menu here, okay, and I'm going to tell it to move to its own sheet. All right, so it's actually moved it to chart 1 here, which is fine, and it started to stretch it out so that I can see. At this point, I can either publish the chart, I can save the image, or I can leave it as it is. If you're working on a report and you don't care for, say, the color of your bars, you certainly can change those to be another color if you would like to make the contrast greater. So that's just real basic how to make a bar chart in Google Spreadsheets.